Yeah, it's a forest fire. Dude, speaking of forest fires, have you guys seen what's happening in Peru? That's like so sad. Like a bunch of like fires are happening, and that's kind of crazy. What program am I using? I am using Shoost, which is a visual little program that you can hook up to your OBS. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, dude. That's like Brazil's also like getting affected by it. That's like insane. That makes me really, really, really sad. Because like, you know, whenever nature like that burns, it's just like, it's sad. It's really, really sad. I wonder why it's catching fire though. Is it because of like the weather, or is it just like, is it caused by humans? I have not, you know, paid too much attention to that. I've just seen like coverage in like Twitter, and that's about it. Where you live, just stay safe, Cosette. That's like crazy. That's so bad. I'm really sorry that it's happened to you. Just turn off the smoke and put in the rain. Yeah, most likely humans. Yeah, probably some people trying to like, you know, burn some area so they can build some fucking buildings and shit. That happens a lot here in Xenokuni, where you would basically see like a really pretty area with like a bunch of like, you know, like very, very green greens, like a bunch of like trees and shit. And people would just like set that shit on fire so they can build like a either a apartment complex, or they can like, you know, infrastructure like that specific area. So it's bad. I understand why they do it though, because I mean, I live in a place, like when I say I live in the jungle, I am not exaggerating. I live in a place where it's very rich in nature, and it's a very growing location in both like tourism and like ecotourism, right? And the thing is that some people are just like, oh well, like, you know, like I think you should go ahead and like build more malls because we can fix shit with the malls. And that's not really how you fix things, right? But they do that, so it's kind of annoying. I kind of hate it, but it's whatever, really. And I'm just like, bro, you could like literally like focus one area for like having like, you know, all like the commerce stuff, right? And just leave like the green areas alone. Like it pisses me off. But then again, I know that's how some people, they boost like, you know, like the country's economy. That's how they boost like the town's economy, and it drops into politics, and that's like, you know, what I would never want to talk about in my streams. So it's kind of sad. It makes it really sad whenever like, you know, like there are places like, you know, really long like highways, right? Or like roads, not highways, roads. And you would have like this very like breathtaking, like, you know, like rainforest type of vibe, like in the middle of the road, like sort of deal. And then seeing that decrease as time goes by, and just like randomly one day being like, what the fuck? Like there are buildings now here. Like this used to be like a jungle. Like I'm not even kidding. Like that has happened to like in where I live, right? Where I would like, I remember I would go to the city and I would take the road and I'd be like, oh, that's a bunch of like, you know, forest. That's a bunch of like trees. It's a bunch of like vines. Really cool stuff, right? And now I just go there halfway through. I'm just like, wow, all these buildings and all these houses were not there. And it's like, you know, the whole like industrialization of like very rural areas is kind of crazy. I can imagine like in the next, 20 years, the place where I live, it's not going to be that much of a jungle. It's probably going to evolve into like a small town or something. Because I live in a village. That's how we call it, right? Like village. Like a village is un pueblito, which basically translates in Spanish to like a pueblito. And I can imagine in the next 20 years, like, you know, with how things are moving and stuff like that, it will probably be like, oh, what the fuck? This is now a little town. It's crazy. Crazy shit, bro. Crazy. Yeah, eventually stuff like that does happen, right? But it makes me sad, though, because, like, you know, I was born in the city, right? And don't get me wrong, I was very spoiled. I lived, like, a good chunk of my life in the city, and the reason why I moved to, like, this place is because, like, you know, my parents got divorced. I'll save you the trauma dump, and I'll give you a TLDR. City expensive, village cheap, right? And one of my aunts actually moved here because of the same reason. And then one day, my mom came to visit my aunt, and I was just like, wow, this is a very nice place to visit. And my mom was like, oh, you like it? Okay, we should all move here. And that's basically how I got trapped in this, like, small village, right? But, you know, at the end of the day, I got used to it. I was just like, oh, wow, this is actually not a bad place to live. Because, like, even though I was not born in this village nor this like in this like section of the area, I've grown very accustomed to it, and I've grown like a liking to it. Like, you know, like seeing it like develop, seeing like people grow, seeing like businesses grows and stuff like that. It has been very nice, and it's been very like nostalgic, you know, like seeing how it developed and stuff, right? Yeah. It's also really sad because like we lose really nice traditions. Like, for example, today, like degrading corn by hand, I was just like, wow, just like the people in the past. I'm connecting with my roots. Holy shit, the god of the corn. Why did the Spaniard took away our religion? You know, like I literally felt so connected to my fucking roots, bro. I was like literally about to like start plowing the fucking land, and I was like gonna go crazy, right? And you know, like I had like a moment, right? I was about bring back the gold. I was going crazy. And then I was just like, wow, we really don't do this like that often. Now we just sell the corn to like the big factories, like the big like industries, and they just like use like very big machines to do that type of shit. So it felt nice, you know, it felt nice. Sorry, I'm just like rambling here, but you know, it was very nice. It was really, really nice. And it just made me think like, wow, times are fucking evolving. It's kind of crazy. I've been very philosophical lately. I don't know what happened to me, but I woke up and I was like, damn, estoy filosofiando. I am philosophizing right now. It's all the corn. I mean, to be fair, 2 hours of just peeling corn straight up, like no music, just literally me connecting with nature and like touching corn and talking to my family was kind of crazy. The corn changed me. There was something in the corn that just literally made me connect with like, you know, my ancestors, right? It's nice having a Kemiyoshi who's so down to earth and also has a very humble outlook in the world. I am just a very idealistic person, and I like to see the positive in the negatives. But don't get me wrong, I'm also like the most pessimist person out there. But my pessimism isn't like the we're all gonna die, everything's worthless. My pessimism is more like realistic. It's just like I have to get the fuck out of here if I want to succeed, you know? Like out of here being like my current like area. So yeah, you know, I have a very like realistic outlook in certain things. Like, you know, I can see where things are developing, I can see where things are not developing. I can like see like, okay, in 20 years this will be better, in 30 years this will be better. So I'm very realistic, but I would say I consider myself an idealistic realist. Yeah. But like, you know, like some people, whenever they say that they're like pessimistic, it's just like, oh, everything's so doomed, you know, and they just like kick rocks, right? I am the kind of person that I am walking, I kick a can, and it's just like, wait, I can sell this, you know? You know, like the half glass and half empty cup. I'm just like, well, I can piss in this cup and sell it for more liquid.